Hello, welcome to my channel. My name's Vanessa. I'm an American who is moving abroad very soon. It's coming up very soon. And so I wanted to start this channel because during this process, there are just so many emotions, so many thoughts coming up. And so right now, I just feel like I'm beaming with reflection, with some positivity, some fears, and just a lot of thoughts. So I want to start this channel for a few reasons. One, just to document it for my own personal reasons. I'm sure in a few years, I will look back on these videos and they will be cringe, but that is actually a good thing because it means I've grown as a person. So I'm starting this just for my own self growth, but also because I want to connect with other people who are like-minded, who might be considering moving to a different country, who maybe already in the process. And, you know, if my story is inspiring or motivates anyone to want to make these decisions and these moves on their own too, then that's just even another added bonus. So welcome to my channel. Let's dive into today's topic, which I'm super excited to talk about. And really this topic is sort of like the foundation, I think, to my decision to move abroad, but also to start this channel. And really what this was inspired by was I have this dream, you know, I'm moving abroad, all of these things were falling into place. I also have this other dream of starting my own YouTube channel and being a voice in media. It might be in the travel space, it might be in a different place. I'm like very into media, communications, pop culture, politics. I just love to yap, right? So I have this dream, this vision that when I get to Spain, I will start to do all these things. The problem with that though is that, you know, wherever we go, there we are. And I've heard from enough people. I haven't moved myself. I haven't moved abroad yet, but I've heard from enough people who have moved abroad, and also people, if you've traveled, you've probably experienced this too. You know, I can have all of these dreams, all these goals, but if I have fears that are preventing me from doing these things, and I have these fears in America, once I move abroad and land wherever I'm going to, or wherever, you know, someone decides to move or travel, you're the same person, right? Like those fears don't just evaporate. You know, you're going to have new surroundings. I will have a new environment. My day-to-day will look very different, but I'll still be the same person. I'll still have the same fears, you know, without working through them. I'll still have the same experiences. I might still have the same dream. So even though the environment will be different, I just had this realization, you know, it just smacked me in the face. I'm going to be the same person in my new country of residence than I am here in America. So telling myself that I'll start once I land, or I'll start once I move, it's really just something that's like putting off. And I had to just like really ask myself, like, why? You know, why am I doing that? So that's what I want to talk about today. You know, really microdosing your dream life. So I'm planning this move and I have these big dreams when I get there. But before I get there, why not microdose and just do them in small doses and just prep for what I want my big goals to be? I think it's less pressure on myself. I don't have to start this like media empire that I'm dreaming of once I land wherever I'm going to be. I can start it here in my room. So that is my goal for this channel. That's the reason why I'm even making this video on YouTube today. I've had dreams for years of making a YouTube channel, but also just something that I think all of us can use if we have these goals of doing these things. We want to move to a different country and be a different person. We can, but you also have to be really grounded in the reality that we will be the same person here as we are on a different latitude, longitudinal plane. There are opportunities to grow and to change, but all the things that might be holding us back where we are, wherever we are not just going to, you know, evaporate and go away once we go somewhere else. So what also hit me about starting my own channel and with these goals and dreams I have, and especially with move abroad, I've wanted to move abroad for a long time. It's probably been something that's been a dream of mine since I was in college. I did a semester abroad in Barcelona and I absolutely loved it. And from that day in on out, I was just like, you know, there's so much to experience in this world. There's so many other ways of life to live and to experience. And I really wanted to experience that. Take a shot every time I say experience in this video. But I wanted to experience something else. So it's been a dream of mine for a very long time. And something I realized through this process was, wow, okay, I actually am achieving a goal that I've had for a very long time. And now that I am doing it, I've had these thoughts like, wow, what if I didn't do this? Or like, and then, so what if I didn't do this? And then from there, I open up to, well, what are some other goals and desires and dreams of mine that I've had that I'm not doing because maybe fear is holding me back? When I first got the opportunity to live abroad, I almost did not do it because I had so many fears holding myself back. I'm going to make another video on that as well. But there's so much that has been sort of revealed to me about how many things I want to do. And really the revelation is just that these dreams, these desires, they're not going to just go away. Okay. They're not going to evaporate. Same way as how moving continents will not change us into a different person. Our goals and dreams will not just change when we move our location. Now, this isn't to say that we can't change throughout life. Like, obviously, life is change. That is what life is. Whether or not it's your location, your age, your looks, your job, everything in life, your family, everything in life is always going to change. So I think that there's sort of a balance, right? We can change. So, for example, as a child, I think marriage is a big one of those, especially right now with maybe women in their 30s who aren't married. And I think for me, it's been a wonderful change of my mind. An example is when I was young, I had a goal or a dream to be married. Now, whether or not those are my real dreams, I think that is probably another video and something that is a really big thing to really analyze when you are thinking about what you want in your life. Asking yourself, I had to ask myself, well, where did that goal come from? So with marriage, a lot of those goals and those dreams were just because that's what people do, like you grow up and you get married. Now, once my frontal lobe developed and I started having, I started dating and things like that, I've sort of, had to ask myself, well, why was I desiring marriage? Why was I desiring, this setup in life? So this video is not about marriage, so I don't want to get too far on that topic, but just an example of how you can have these dreams and these desires. And as you grow, as you experience new things, they definitely can change. But if you have a goal that especially it is your own goal. So living abroad was my goal. It came to me through my experiences. It wasn't something that I began to dream up because I saw other people doing it, which is sort of like what the dream of marriage is. A lot of people, other people do it. So we just sort of accept that that's what we want. But over time, those desires can change, especially as we get more in touch with ourselves, how we want our lives to look like, how we want to design our lives. Your goals can change. But the ones that are true to you, what I didn't want to do and what I'm sure other people don't want to do when I hear a lot is that I don't want in 20 years to be like, oh, well, I could have done this 20 years ago. And it's like, but I didn't because I was scared. So why not? So I think that's just something that has been really top of mind for me as I've been going through this process is that, okay, I'm actually doing something that I've wanted to for such a long time. This goal would have not just gone away. So I'm so happy that I'm showing myself love by achieving this goal that 18-year-old me had. And now it's coming, to fruition now in my life. And, it's so exciting. And it's also just really exciting to think about, okay, I'm 34 now. When I'm 54, what will I be thanking 34-year-old me for, doing and setting foot out and going after her dreams? So your dreams will not go away. They might change, especially if they are externally put onto you. But if there are things that you want to do, they're not going to just go away. So if you have a dream, start it today. Microdose. Figure out how you can take one tiny little step to get towards what your dream is. And even if it's not an actual action today, maybe it's just reflecting or journaling, but really just accepting the truth is helpful for me. These desires I have are not going to go away. So what can I do to show my self-love, my past self, my future self by going against my fears and actually figuring out how I can talk the talk and walk the walk and live the life I want to live. So how can you start actually microdosing your dreams and your dream reality? Okay, there's a few things you can do, and I am someone, a few years ago, I would have totally said no to this. I just was not in a space where I could actually sit down and reflect and journal. I recently started journaling and it's been a game changer. So if you're not someone, if you haven't in the past done like this, just remain open to, types of reflection, whether or not it's just a walking reflection, walking without headphones, taking time to journal, really talking to yourself and getting to know what is going on in your head. But something that has been so helpful for me is to, if I have a goal, asking myself, what are the things that are holding me back from it? So I have so many goals, I have so many dreams. And like, so if, for example, this YouTube channel was something that I wanted to start for a long time. So I asked myself 3 questions, and when I asked myself these questions, it gave me answers. And sometimes the answers right away won't make you hop into action, but they can just give you more insight into maybe what's holding you back or what's pushing you forward or maybe what you need in order to make that next step. So 3 questions. The first one is, what are my fears? Like what actually is holding me back? When I, asked myself this about my YouTube channel, the fears that were holding me back were starting from 0, and I might only get 6 views on this video. Those things could happen, right? But I have to start sometime. So if I either start today or start in 2 years, either way, I'm going to be starting from 0 at some point. So asking myself, I have a few more, I won't go through all of them on this video, but like really asking yourself your fears, writing them down. Now, a lot of the times these fears can be valid, but a lot of times these fears are things that are, I don't want to say like trivial, but they are things that are not, they're fears that are just like man-made. They're in my head, whether or not I start today or in 2 years, I will have to start from 0. So my fears were something that I'm projecting onto myself, and it's something that is just inevitable at any point. So I asked myself my fears. I also asked myself, what's the best thing that could possibly happen for this? So, I could start my YouTube video today, and in 6 months, I could be on MSNBC. Like, who knows? Maybe not, but maybe. And just sort of like going through what's the best thing that could possibly happen. When I do these things with my goals, especially things where I have a lot of fears around, it just gives me so much more like positivity and motivation by really just like allowing your mind to imagine what's the best that can happen. Especially for me, I'm someone with anxiety, so sometimes my mind tends to go towards the negative of what could happen, but really just asking yourself what's the best that can happen, it just fills you up with so much positivity when you really start to think about it and dream and imagine what could happen. So what are your fears? What's the best that can happen? And then the third question is just asking yourself why. Like, why is this important to me? Why does it matter to me? So for me, starting a YouTube channel, I have this goal. I have these visions that I know will not go away. I have these visions of being in media, using my voice to inspire change, to motivate people, to make people feel better. I love to yap. I love to talk with people. I love communicating with people. So I have these desires they are my dreams and they're eternal to me. And when you ask yourself why do you want to make a decision? If the reasons why are lined up with your virtues and your goals and who you see yourself as a person, then that's when you're really you're on the right path. So those 3 questions: what are my fears? Ask yourself what's holding me back. Ask yourself what's the best that can happen, because that really can just be something that if we cannot imagine it, we cannot see it. Like, we need to use our imagination. Using your imagination, asking yourself what's the best that can happen it's just such like an injection of good feeling, optimism, and just feel good motivation. And then the why, asking yourself why. If you if you were trying to figure out some of your goals and desires, if they are external desires or if they are internal, asking yourself that why is a really good one. And I know I'm not going to keep talking about marriage, but just an example, like the marriage question for me was like, well, why do I want to get married? And the why I have at the time is because I saw other people get married and because that's what we're told to do. Versus something that internally actually like really inspires me and motivates me. So just something, just a quick recommendation, asking yourself these 3 questions: your fears, what's the best that can happen, and why. And those are 3 ways to give you a roadmap to begin microdosing your dream life. So if you have a dream, if you have a goal, a desire that you want to start and something's holding you back, maybe it's fear, maybe it's, obviously all of it's fear, but whatever the specific fear is, just really get in touch with that. Take some time and ask yourself why is this coming up? And just know that you can start living your dream life right now, right today, and don't wait. Don't keep putting things off. Something that I do frequently and a lot of us do, and it's becoming so clear to me now that I've made this big decision, is we tend to say, I will do this when I do this, or I'll do this when I do this. I'll do this when I have more money, or I'll do it when I have a kid, or I'll do it when I have more, a different job. Those were things I was telling myself for so many years too. And now that I'm actually making the move, I'm like, I could have done this so long ago. So don't put it off. We can begin to microdose our dream lives and live our dream lives today. It just really starts off with some internal reflection. So I hope this video was helpful. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching. Maybe you're someone who has like-minded dreams of leaving the US, of living abroad, and just experiencing something different. So I am going to be documenting my process as I move abroad. I'm going to be showing more about like my visa and things like that, just so people can see just from a functional standpoint what it looks like. But I'm also going to do a lot of these videos on the reflection and the mental blocks and the emotional blocks and things like that, because I think it's a big piece of how I've been able to make this decision and move abroad. And I think when I reflect and look back on what was holding me back before, a lot of it was just mental. So I am so happy to have unlocked this, I guess, new portal in my mind, and I'm just excited. And I know that a lot of people are also interested in learning more about leaving the US. I embark on my journey. From where I sit right now, I think it definitely is, it's a twofold sort of process. It's your actual, like physical, the actions you take, but there's a lot of mental and emotional sort of like questions and preparation and things like that that are helpful and most likely necessary before you make this jump. So if you like that type of content, please feel free to subscribe, like the video, give it a thumbs up. I will be back here no matter what, okay? So if this video gets 0 views, or maybe 1 view or 2 views, I'll be back here tomorrow, okay? Because we have to continue day to day to day. So I've made this decision. I'm going to show up every day for myself to be here to fulfill these dreams of mine. Because if we don't start today, when will we ever start, right? Okay, thank you for watching my video, and I'll see you on the next one.